Hi, hello everyone. Dawn Epting here. Thank you guys so much as always for watching. I wanted to come and share from the topic, the trap of overthinking. Let your mind rest. The trap of overthinking. Let your mind rest. And hopefully by the end of this video, we'll be reminded that overthinking is a trap. It's a trap, and it just can lead to mental turmoil. It can zap your energy, not allow you to rest. And hopefully we'll get some tools so that we can stop, falling victim and prey to that trap. Thank you, whatever platform you're watching on. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button under the video and the notification bell to receive notifications of future videos. So I'll open with a quote. It says, "You are the observer, not the thoughts themselves." You are the observer. You're not the thoughts themselves. And that's from Eckhart Tolle. So often we associate ourselves with our thoughts. I am old, or I am worthless, or I can't do this, I can't achieve that. And we're not realizing that those are thoughts. Yeah, that's true. Yes, rather. But you don't have to associate yourself with those thoughts. Another quote says, "Humanity often complicates the inherent simplicity of life." Humanity often complicates the inherent simplicity of life. Life is really meant to be simple. We overcomplicate it. We add meaning to things. We say this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. I don't have this in my notes, but that is why the ancient text in the scriptures, it says, "Do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." Don't eat of what is right, what is wrong. So often we have thoughts and we assign value, or, we assign things that are neutral. Thoughts in and of themselves, for the most part, are neutral. But we say this is a good thought, this is a bad thought, and we go down rabbit holes. Have you ever been thinking of something? You think about, I have to make a sandwich for lunch tomorrow. Let's say, I'm just thinking of a random thought. And then you start thinking about, well, I don't have that bread that I normally have. Yeah, well, I need to go to the grocery store to get that bread. The last time I was at the grocery store, I saw so-and-so. And wow, so-and-so's, sister is married to a paramedic. I'm making things up. I remember when I dated that paramedic back in college. Oh my gosh, that was horrible. Have you ever just gone down like this thinking rabbit hole? And it's like, then you get to the end of it, and like 5-10 minutes later, you're like, how did I get here? How did I get here? And sometimes you may feel, drained. You may even feel depressed. So let's tackle this today. I think that this is one of the biggest things that robs us of our peace. Philippians 4:8, the ancient text says, "Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things." So there's a difference between thoughts and thinking. Thoughts are in the infinite field, in the spiritual realm, the quantum field, however you define it. Everything already exists. All things already exist. So there was a saying a number of years ago that thoughts become things, but thoughts are things. They exist. Every thought that has ever been thought and will ever be thought already exists in the infinite field. But thinking, that ancient scripture says to think. Thoughts are nouns. Thinking is a verb. You know, thoughts are neutral nouns. But thinking, you don't want to think on things that you're assigning value to as negative. You don't want to. Thinking is a perpetual process. Thoughts are, and I'm sure you've heard this analogy, are like clouds or waves on the ocean. They pass by. You know, you can observe it. As the first quote by Eckhart Tolle said, you are the observer, not the thoughts themselves, but you don't have to identify with it. But thinking is where we get in trouble. Aaron Doughty, a famous YouTuber, said that thinking is a survival mechanism because who we are at our core is infinite awareness. We don't have to overthink or get into thinking spirals. So when you have thoughts, you don't have to take ownership of them. I've written some notes here, as you can probably see them looking. Often other people or circumstances try to force us to think. You know, have you ever had someone phone you or text you and say, it looks like, this happened, or I see someone hit your car, or this person is sick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, people notifying you of those things. But have you ever had someone call with something that was fairly neutral, but they're really anxious and they try to get you into that anxiety? It's almost like they're trying to pull you into their thinking process. It could be, I've written here, an unexpected bill, a sickness, a relationship issue. So Aaron Doughty stated that thinking is a survival mechanism. Your true identity is divinity. Who you really are is a spirit or energy. And you just are. You have everything that you need. You don't have to think anxiously to solve your problems. A lot of times, if we would just rest, the solutions would come to us. But we've been taught that we have to think, we have to fix it. We have to get, into anxiety. Albert Einstein once said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. Everything is energy. Radiate, vibrate, gratitude, wholeness, fullness. And don't fall into the trap of overthinking. Don't identify with those thoughts and think that you have to take ownership of those thoughts or solve every thought that comes across your mind. Now, we can plan and prepare. I'm not saying that you don't plan, you don't prepare for tomorrow or, for work in the morning. I'm not saying that. There's a certain amount of mental energy that goes into that. I mean, the perpetual loops we find ourselves in with anxious overthinking. We don't have to fall victim to that. So allow your mind to rest. Practice just presence. Practice being in the present moment. I think so often we're preoccupied with the past, which only exists in our memory anyway, or the future, which also exists in our mind. All we ever have is this present moment. And we need to learn to just be still and appreciate this moment, because in this moment, because everything exists in the infinite field, is everything that you need. So feel free to comment below the video. And feel free to see how you can reach out to me. Thank you for watching.